Welcome to the first video on conversion factors. We're going to spend some time looking at your conversion factor sheet. I'll show you what that is in a second, and talking about how to convert from one unit to another. So most of you have done this many times throughout your life, converting inches to feet or feet to yards or milliliters to liters, so you can use this also in everyday life. But a conversion factor is a term that converts one quantity in one unit to a quantity in another. So you take the original quantity, that's what you're given, so what you would maybe measure or what's given to you in the problem, and then you times it times the conversion factor to get your desired quantity in the unit that you are looking for. So for example would be there are 2.20 pounds in 1 kilogram. So a conversion factor can be written as a fraction. Okay, so if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can write this as 2.20 pounds per kilogram. Okay, or you can flip that over and write it the other way. So either way is fine, and we're going to talk about how to use the number and plug it in correctly into your problem. But you can write these as fractions. All right, here's your handy dandy conversion factor sheet. If you are taking my class, then yours looks like this. Okay, you can use this if you're in my class. You can use this for your test, your homework, for any of these type of problems. All right, one thing I do want you to notice is that your prefixes that we talked about in a previous video, you do have to know those. So you have to know what a milli stands for, and a kilo, and giga, and mega, and so on and so forth. Okay, so those are not present on this, all right? But it doesn't mean, it just means you don't have to really memorize it. You may know some of these already, but you have to know how to use it. So it's going to be something that you look at a lot. So you may want to print this off, or you do want to print this off and have it with you. You can find these anywhere. They're in any book, online, and they may vary. The numbers may vary just a little bit based on the book and if they wanted, how many sig figs they wanted to use, but they're all relatively very, very close to each other. All right, so when you're solving a problem using just one conversion factor, so we're going to start really simple here. If you have, let's say, 130 pounds, and that's what you want to convert to kilograms. Okay, so previously we saw that we had a conversion factor that would do that. All right, so you're going to write out what you know. That is the very first thing that I tell all of my students, is write out the number that is given to you. So in this problem, this is the number given in pounds. So write the number and don't round it, don't change it at all. Use all the sig figs, and then write the unit afterwards. Okay, and then I write my multiplication sign. I'm just writing that over. And then I'm going to plug in my conversion factor. Okay, so I need to get from pounds, and I want to find kilograms. So I have to think about what I'm starting with and what I'm trying to find. Okay, so our conversion factor is this that we already mentioned earlier, and this is on your sheet. Okay, you have 2.20 pounds in a kilogram. So what we have to figure out is, are we going to plug it in this way, or are we going to plug it in this way to our problem? Okay, the one you're going to use is circled here in blue because the pound unit has to be in the denominator. So the reason for that is it has to cancel with your original unit there and leave the kilograms on top or in the numerator not canceled out. Okay, so the unwanted pounds, that's what you don't want, is going to cancel here from the denominator. Okay, and then it leaves your desired unit of kilograms not canceled out. Okay, and this is going to be a common trend that we're going to use over and over again, using all sorts of units through the semester. Okay, so this is the starting point where it's really important that you understand this, that units cancel. Okay, and then we have to think about our answer. All right, we have 2 sig figs. Okay, if you don't get that, you may want to go back and watch the significant digit videos, because that 0 that's trailing the non-zero digit, okay, is not significant because there's no decimal place. All right, so when we do the math here, we would round to 59 kilograms. And the answer is not correct unless you report its units as well. All right, and we have 2 sig figs in our answer. Okay, so whatever you start with here, so I get this question a lot. Okay, you have 2 sig figs. So the measured number, remember sig figs are based on measured numbers. Okay, the measured number that you're given here, or that you would measure, okay, it is what sets the sig figs for your answer. Okay? All right, I get that question quite a bit. So these numbers here, remember, these are exact numbers. Okay, so we don't look at these as far as setting how many sig figs our answer is going to be in. Okay, so don't try to use these numbers to set your sig figs. All right, here's another problem. So we have a 325 milligram tablet, and we want to find the grams in this tablet. All right, so first thing we always do is write out what you know, okay, and think about your conversion factor. All right, on the sheet I showed earlier that you may have printed out, okay, this unit factor is not shown, and that is because it's one you need to know. Okay, anytime you hear milli, you automatically want to think 1,000th. It's 1,000th of whatever that base unit is. Okay, so it's 1,000. There's 1,000 milligrams in 1 gram. Okay, and some of you may already know that. Anyways, so I have 2 conversion factors, or 2 possible fractions I could use: 1,000 over milligrams per gram, or 1 gram per 1,000 milligrams. Both are the same, but I've got to figure out which way to flip it, if you will, and plug it in to get grams, because grams is the desired quantity and unit that I want. All right, so the first thing I do, I said this on the last slide and forgot it wasn't there, but here is the 325 milligrams. So first thing you do is write out what you are given. Then I draw my multiplication sign, and then I draw my fraction, and then I think about how I'm going to plug in the unit factor. All right, since milligrams is here, I must have milligrams in the denominator so that they cancel. So we put the 1,000 on the bottom and the 1 gram on the top. Okay, a lot of students can do these in their head, and that's fine, but you want to go ahead and get used to this setup because they're going to get more and more complicated. Okay, and you want to be sure you're seeing how things cancel. And the most common mistake is to multiply instead of divide, or divide instead of multiply, because you didn't think about canceling your units. All right, so grams is left on top, not canceled out. And so our answer is really just moving. We divided by 1,000, so all we did was move our decimal place over 3 places, and we get 0.325. All right, we've got 3 sig figs. Okay, so we have 3 sig figs in our answer. This leading 0 is not significant. All right, and our units, unwanted units, canceled, and we have 3 sig figs, 0.325 grams. All right, that concludes the first video on conversion factors, and I will see you soon. Thank you.